Hello, my brothers and sisters, wherever you are. I hope this day finds you safe, healthy, and happy, and just thriving in whatever you're doing, however you're doing it. You're just enjoying yourself, that you're having a good time. Boy, if it's not fun, don't be doing it. Just, yeah, hope it's all good. That's what vibrant living is all about. It's about living your best life, your very best, most enjoyable, most thrilling, most fulfilling life, whatever that looks like in whatever it is, whether that's it, I don't care how you get there. If it's business that gets you there, great. If it's spirituality that gets you there, great. If it's meditation that gets you there, whatever it is. If it's going out and doing charitable works, if it's working with fraternal organizations. I used to be a member of the Wheat Ridge Optimist Club in Colorado that I just absolutely loved. We did all kinds of great things. The Optimist Club is very kids focused. And it was very, very fulfilling and brought me joy. If I could have figured out a way to make money doing that while I was doing it, that's probably what I would do full time. But whatever you're doing, I hope it's bringing you joy. Hope it's making things fun for you. Um, got a lot of things going on today. A lot of kind of a potpourri of stuff. You guys have seen this book before. This is my new favorite morning read with my meditations in the morning. When I was a young man, when I was a kid, if you will, when I was still living with mom and dad on Long Island. By the way, I can see if you're out there, if you're watching, please make a comment, ask a question, whatever. I can't see all the comments from all the different places where we stream, but if you're watching here on the New Thought Media Network, you can probably make a comment and I can see you, and I'd be glad to entertain whatever thoughts you have, comments, questions, whatever. Anyway, when I was a young man, when I was a teenager, my mom would, I grew up in the 60s, right? You guys may or may not know that. I find it very unique that I experienced the entirety of my teen years in the 60s. In other words, I turned 10 in 1960. I turned 20 in 1970. So all of my teens were in the 1960s. And it was a turbulent time. It was an interesting time. It was when I decided, when I made the big declaration, I wasn't going to cut my hair anymore. And that was like, wow. For my father, who was a certifiable World War II hero and a president of an insurance company, having his oldest son and his namesake, because I'm a junior, get the grow his hair long and become an old hippie. That was not his idea of a good time, but that's what I turned out to be. That's who I was. That's the time I grew up. Again, I can see you folks are out there. Please ask a question, make a comment. Let me know what's on your mind today. And my mom would look at my friends, and my mom was a pretty judgmental person in that regard. She would look at your friends, and nobody was ever good enough for her children. No one ever good enough for her standards. She grew up in a pretty conservative household, if you will. She went to all Catholic school her entire life, and as did my dad. They were there, even though their social attitudes were liberal, their family attitudes and those things, they were pretty conservative. And my mother would look at me and my friends. Everybody had long hair. One of my friends had a full beard at a very young age. And my mother would say, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. Or show me who you're hanging around with and I'll tell you who you are. And I just, I thought that was a colloquialism of my mom's. I thought that was something she just made up or got from her mom or somewhere. By the way, long time since we had CBD infused coffee, but today we have our little 5 milligrams of CBD infused in our coffee. Outstanding. Good for everything. Good for the soul. So today I'm reading in my Daily Stoic, excuse me, and the subject today was find the right scene. And there are two quotes, which normally is only one quote at the top. One is from Epictetus, and the other one is from Musonius Rufus, who was quoting Theogenes. Theogenes? I guess that's how you say that. Theogenes of Megara. Great names these old Greeks had. They were fantastic. But then the young fellow who wrote the book, the other guys who wrote the book, Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman, excuse me, they have commentary underneath the quotes. And in the commentary today is a quote from Goethe. And the quote is, tell me with whom you consort, and I will tell you who you are. Little did I know that old Betty Ludwig, my mom, she was actually quoting Goethe. I don't know that she knew that, but that's where that thought came from. Tell me with whom you consort, and I will tell you who you are. And there's a second half to the quote that had never heard. If I know how you spend your time, then I know what might become of you. Now that's a BFD right there, folks. If I know how you spend your time, then I know what might become of you. So just go to the old saying from who was it? Who was it from? Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." And I've always found that an interesting quote, because in this day and age, how much time do we spend with anybody? Where we can actually say we're the average of 5 people we spend the most time with. Anymore, we spend a couple hours with people all week long. Everything else is social media or whatever we do. But the idea of show me who you consort with, who are your friends, who are your associates, who's your community. And it's basically will explain a great deal about who you are, and then how you spend your time. And I like the fact that quote is looking forward. It's not if I know how you spend your time, I know who you are. No, if I know how you spend your time, I might know. I have a good idea of what might become of you. That's very interesting. There's a lot to do with your daily spiritual practice, with your DMO, your daily method of operation in your business life, in your professional life, whatever that looks like, however that works. But no man is an island, right? Is the expression. We are not here alone. We are not creating all of this experience, all of this life by ourselves. We have consorts. We have cooperators, collaborators, and we also have competitors. Whether or not we're into that competitive model, unimportant in this particular instance, because there are people out there who are part of that competitive model that are competing with me, whether I like it or not, whether I could participate or not. In most cases, I choose not at this point in my life, but I know earlier in my life, I would always just rise to the occasion or sink to the occasion, as the case might have been. But yeah, who are you hanging out with? How are you spending your time? What are you doing in this world to absolutely project out the absolute highest vision of yourself, the highest version of you that you have available in that moment? Remember my kind of self-created affirmation: in every situation and circumstance that I encounter today, I will present the very best version of me that I have available in that moment. Whatever moment that is, and whatever version of me is available, the highest and best version I have in that moment. And let's be honest, I mean, not all of us walking around with the absolute greatest version of ourselves available every single moment of every single day in every situation. That's just not the way life works. Sometimes we have to stop and think. Sometimes we have to adjust ourselves. We have to change our attitude. We have to do an affirmation, a meditation, a prayer, whatever we have to do to change the situation up here between our ears, to not get caught up in that competitive thing. So that's one little piece that I had for you today. I found some new affirmations that I've been using every morning in my meditation and prayer work at the end of it. It's 10 affirmations. They're different from things I've done before. They're actually quite, I think, quite common, if you will, as far as they're things that most of us would recognize or affirm as really being really, really, really good. And somewhere along the line, in all of you'd have to see what my area looks like here. I mean, I've just got so many boxes full of crap that I've saved every workshop. I've saved all of the great lessons that I've been taught from other people. I've saved all of those things, and now I have them. They got stuffed in boxes on the way to North Carolina from Colorado, and then they sat in storage for a year. And now I'm unpacking, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing with this stuff? What am I going to do with it? But you find some interesting things. And I found this little prayer that I was reading before or after these new affirmations. And here's this prayer. It's from Ernest Holmes, by the way. It's from The Science of Mind. Let me start again. As I desire to do only that which is good and constructive, life-giving and life-expressing, the divine abundance forever manifests in my endeavors. Therefore, I know that I shall prosper in everything I do. I know that I exist in a limitless possibility and that the infinite good is right where I am and active in all my experience. I believe that everything for complete self-expression is now the law of my being. New thoughts, new ideas, new situations now unfold before me. There are new opportunities for achievement and abundant living. This I accept and this I expect. That's one of the best Ernest Holmes prayers I've ever read. And I've read a lot, man. I read The Science of My textbook 2.5 times. So I've read a lot of these kind of prayers. And you'll notice if you're familiar with this, in the middle of this little card on which this prayer is printed is the Science of Mind teaching symbol, which is a favorite of mine. I love using the teaching symbol to demonstrate how thought coalesces or coagulates, I used to love to say, into expression, into form. And whether that is from the divine or from each and every one of us or from whatever situation. But it's a great, great, great quote. It's a great prayer, and I love it. And there's a little thing on the back of it that I really paid no attention to. And then I assumed it was from the author, or at first I assumed it was from the author until I realized that at the very bottom of this, it says Ernest Holmes. But the quote on the back, it says, "We have shared an amazing journey together. We are forever part of one another's lives. We are one with love and gratitude. Namaste." And it's signed Sally Houston. And I, at first, didn't connect the dots. Sally Houston was my prayer partner no, she wasn't. She was the prayer partner I planned to have in my second year of practitioner training. She and I had plotted out that we were absolutely going to be prayer partners. I love Sally dearly. Her and her partner, Sarah, they were really great, great friends of mine, and my beloved Lisa. And we were going to be prayer partners. And the amazing, inimitable Dr. Patty Lukenbach, who taught Practitioner 2 training at Mile High Church, she had a different idea. She gave everybody a number. And every number that she gave out, there were 2 of those numbers. And you wound up prayer partners with the person who had the same number as you. That's another story altogether, because it was the person that I least wanted to be prayer partners with in the entire class. A class of, at that point, there was probably more than 30 of us still in the class. We started out at 42. I think we wound up graduating 27 or 28. So we were probably 30, 33, 35, maybe even at that point. And I was like, I was devastated. And a couple of people who were my practitioner friends, cohorts, knew that this was the last person on the planet I wanted to be prayer partners with. And they just kind of gave me the look like, wow, here's spirit giving you one, buddy. This is your opportunity to prove, okay, you're a practitioner. You're going to be a practitioner in the science of mind. How are you going to respond to this particular situation? And remember the affirmation I said at the very beginning. In every situation and circumstance that I encounter today, I will present the very best version of me I have available in that moment. So I was immediately called to present a better version of me than I had kind of conjured up around this person. Interesting part of the story. But in the meantime, I got this amazing prayer from Sally Houston at the end of Prac 2 training. Now, I became a practitioner in 2007. So this prayer is, she gave to me over 15 years ago. And it has been buried in my stuff until now. And I am absolutely, I'm telling you, I'm going to read this prayer again. And if you're listening to me, as I read this prayer again, I want you to listen to this prayer. I think this prayer is the entirety of the science of mind in 2 paragraphs. As I desire to do only that which is good and constructive, life-giving and life-expressing, the divine abundance forever manifests in my endeavors. Therefore, I know that I shall prosper in everything I do. I know that I exist in a limitless possibility and that the infinite good is right where I am and active in my experience. I believe that everything for complete self-expression is now the law of my being. New thoughts, new ideas, new situations now unfold before me. There are new opportunities for achievement and abundant living. This I accept, and this I expect. Just love it. I mean, it's just it's almost, you could almost call it the prayer of expectancy. It is the prayer that we would say, knowing without question or doubt that as we live the very best life we can possibly live, that we desire to do only that which is good and constructive. The very first sentence, as we desire to do that, we know that abundant living is ours. Vibrant living is ours. I love that prayer. I think it's a phenomenal expression of Holmes and his work. That's part 2 of what I got today. The third thing is, my wife and I, my beloved Lisa and I, were talking last week, I think after the show, or the week before maybe. Boy, if you want to get some of that CBD infused coffee, make sure you message me, because it is really, really, really good. I love it. I think I've told you what I do with it. It comes in a little straw stick. I should have brought one to the screen with me, and it makes a cup of coffee itself. But a cup of coffee in most people's world is, or in the world of people who create those things, a cup of coffee is 6 to 8 ounces of water. That's a cup of coffee. Well, I don't even know what that is. 16-ounce mug. I don't know anybody who drinks a 6-ounce cup of coffee. There's no such thing. But that's what they consider to be a cup, or an actual measured cup is 8 ounces. Still, that's a minute coffee cup. I think a tall at Starbucks is more than 8 ounces. In fact, I'm quite sure it is. But anyway, it's really good. Lisa and I were talking about my old radio show. I did a radio show from 2009 to 2013 on the Co-Creator Network. It was something that we did on Skype, and I did it every week. I did different variations of it, different constructs. I did 1 hour 3 times a week. I did 3 hours once a week. I eventually just got to be 1 hour once a week, because, to be honest with you, that's plenty. And I interviewed some of the all greats in the world. I mean, I interviewed Joe Dispenza, Lynn McTaggart, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden. I interviewed those people, and many with Jamie Lula, Barry Ebert, Carl Anthony, great musicians in New Thought. I really interviewed them. Dr. Sue Morter. I interviewed some incredible people. And Lisa Wimberger, the creator of the Neurosculpting Institute. Both those two ladies that I just mentioned have been on Vibrant Living. They've already been interviewed here with me. But back in those days, if I didn't have a guest, I picked up one of my favorite books, This Thing Called You, again by Ernest Holmes. And you can see, I hope you can see, can you see the sticky notes? This is one of those books where you would have been, the smarter move would have been to mark the pages you didn't want to mark with sticky notes, the ones you didn't want to remember, because this is an interesting book, and that literally every page you open to, there is some kind of a prayer, affirmation, or something from Holmes that you can quote, and you can see, not only the sticky notes, but the highlighting everywhere. And I would just open this book at the beginning of the show with no prearranged page. I would just open it up and I would read from the book, and that would be my show for the day. And I loved doing it that way. But so anytime I didn't have a guest, that's what I did. And Lisa suggested, and Lisa always has the best suggestions for me, of course, that I do the very same thing for this show. And the answer is, why not? So I just opened it up, page 70. On This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes. And this is actually a long one. I know that I can make conscious use of the divine law of my being. I know that this law reacts immediately and creatively to my faith. I know that when I speak this word for myself, there is a direct reaction toward me. I know that when I speak it for others, there is a direct reaction toward them. There is no doubt or uncertainty in my consciousness. I identify myself with the good I desire. I have complete confidence that the law of good will respond to me by creating the object of this desire. I have a quiet contentment and an inner sense of peace. I have an enthusiastic sense of well-being. I know that all the power there is for me. Therefore, I put on the whole armor of faith. I am free spirit. I am perfect life. I am in conscious union with the God who is right where I am. Wow. There you go. I mean, Ernest Holmes didn't mess around, did he? He always had always something pithy and meaningful to say. And that in that prayer, I'm not sure. The last time I read that was like maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. Maybe longer than that. Last time I read that. What sticks out for me right now is putting on the whole armor of faith. That this is we can absolutely be certain that the universe responds immediately to us. And how does he word it here? I know that this law reacts immediately and creatively to my faith. I know that when I speak this word for myself, there is a direct reaction towards me. I know that when I speak it for others, there is a direct reaction toward them. It is a direct and immediate reaction, and it is based entirely on our faith, on our absolute certainty, our undoubting belief that we are one with that divine intelligence, and our thought is God thought, and it is the law unto that thing whereunto we speak it, whether it is for ourselves or for others. That perhaps is one of the most difficult pieces of the science of mind, is to hold that faith, to know that everything I desire is already mine. It already exists, right? We know everything is twice created, right? It is once in thought, and that thought is the infinite ocean of possibilities. It's the quantum field. That's the thought. It's there. It exists. And then it exists in reality. And it exists in reality through that science of mind symbol hidden in Sally Houston's post, as we take the thought and we move it through the soul, through the creative mind, through the excuse me, through our belief, be that positive or negative. We move it through the belief, and it is through our belief that eventually we get down to this V at the bottom here, and that is where it becomes reality. That is a direct result of faith, of knowing that divine mind, that divine intelligence, that overarching creative intelligence is always working for us, always working with us, and it can do nothing for us without doing it through us. In other words, we have got to embody that faith and that belief in order for anything we want, anything we desire in this life to manifest as our reality. There you go. Thank you, my beloved Lisa, for giving me the idea to go back to basics. This thing called You. By the way, this is a great, great, great book. It's an uplifting book. It is a simple book. I think it's 114 pages, if I remember. That's not right. I don't remember at all. It's 154 pages. But it's just, like I said, literally every page has a quote or something that can be uplifting. That's another one of my Ernest Holmes books. It's falling apart because it's gotten so much use. I think that's a good thing. Anyway, that's it for me today. I want you to remember that without any question or doubt, we are a nonprofit organization. Where did all of my stuff go here? Oh, they changed all this on me. Now I have to find it. There it is, my 10 banners for vibrant living. I need to get those up before I start every week, but I'll remember that eventually. New Thought Media Network. That's ntmedia.org. Go to ntmedia.org. Click on donate. We are a nonprofit organization, a 501c3. Everything and anything you give to us is tax deductible, and we are immensely grateful right here, right now, long before you even give us a nickel. We're grateful for your thought about it, and then the manifestation of that thought into an actual donation. Remember that my sponsor is hempworks.com/Ken Ludwig. Hempworks is part of the house of brands known as My Daily Choice. MyDailyChoice.com/Ken Ludwig is where you can go and look at right now 11 different trending and in-demand brands globally. This is not just a U.S. company. It's a global company. We're in whatever it is, 180 countries or something, is what we're in. And you can find me on Instagram at evolving_hippie. I haven't done anything on Instagram and I don't know how long. I don't know why I'm even telling you that, but I'll be back on Instagram for sure because it's important. By the way, if you are on TikTok, get the hell off of it. I deleted TikTok from my apps on my phone a long time ago. There is nothing good going on in TikTok, folks. Nothing going on good. That's nothing going on there that's good at all. You can find me at Vibrant Aging on Facebook. That is my branded Facebook page with my beloved Lisa. You can email me at teamrockitnow@gmail.com. That's teamrockitnow@gmail.com. Once again, go to newthoughtmedia.org, click on donate, and we are absolutely just thrilled beyond belief for anything and everything you give us. So, my friends, as always, I am immensely grateful for the great gift of your time and your attention. I wish you all the love and all the blessings the universe has to offer. I hope you will join me. I hope you joined me this week. I hope you will join me next Thursday and every Thursday from this point forward for Vibrant Living with Ken Ludwig. Until then, namaste.